Wait, are you serious?
Hey, that thing going missing.
You get under some shit.
Wipe my butt.
Yes.
Ugh. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Jace's first to say good morning.
Hi, Jace.
What
Good
up?
morning.
Jace.
I will let you not be scared, so you can do the sniffins.
Oh, he's not scared. He's just nosy.
Oh,
Neighborhood
what's
grandma.
up, nosy boy? How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Oh, I like those shoes.
Thank you.
They look different.
Hello.
Hi. I just took my eye patches off. You know, so I
That's how I
don't
wake up.
go.
Hi,
Oh,
Jace.
it's a hot start. It's a little messy.
No, this is where you live.
I tried to pick up but not straight up clean because this is realistically what it would be like.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm trying not to be that person.
I love it. How are your neighbors?
Huh?
How are your neighbors?
Do you want the filtered camera version?
No, any version. You can do movie magic, you know?
My neighbors are very, very nice. I don't take walks at night after dark. Yeah, actually this neighborhood's been great. I lived with a roommate 2 miles down the road in 2017 to 2020. Chase. And that was really good, and honestly I saw she made quite a bit of profit off her house.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought this in 2020 right as the world was shutting down.
Right.
I moved in 2020, and then I went into my job, which was a gym at the time, walked in, and they were like, hey, we're shutting down mandatorily on Monday, congrats on your new mortgage. So been here ever since, and it's worked out.
Nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't here, what would you be doing right now?
I have a whole morning routine. So I always start, I have reds and greens in the morning. Do you want me to walk you through what my routine is?
You can tell us.
Tell us. So I usually literally I do the same thing every morning. I let him out, I feed him. I have lots of supplements up there. So take my reds and greens. Then I'm a huge coffee is my fave. So I make coffee and add collagen, and then I try to have quiet time.
We're changing quiet time today, huh?
Yeah. No, but it's good. So I usually, if it's nice outside, I'll take a mat outside and stretch and read and journal as I do that. And I try to do that every day. And then I just get ready. I started this new thing a couple weeks ago. I've been wanting to write a book. And so it's always felt very daunting, and so I haven't done it. But I decided to work on it 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And I was like, the task of a book sounds really daunting, but just break it down, because you keep getting so freaked out you don't do it at all. So I've been doing that in the mornings for 15 minutes, and then I'll eat breakfast, which is what I'm gonna get ready now, and then go to the gym. So ideally get to the gym 9. It doesn't always happen like that.
So what's for breakfast typically?
It depends. I have bagels and eggs, and then today is going to be a little bit of a lighter day, so I'm having Greek yogurt, berries, and granola. I have that that mush stuff that everyone's talking about. I tried it the other day. It's actually pretty good. But yeah.
Not a sponsored ad.
Not a sponsored ad. I'm not paying for that. I got it at Costco. It's super cheap. But yeah, so I do that, and then I honestly hate eating breakfast in the morning. My favorite thing is Sundays when I don't go to the gym and I can eat whenever the heck I want. But I know that I shouldn't work out on an empty stomach, and it's not as intense now for sure because I'm not competing this year, but I worked with a nutritionist who actually owns the gym that we're going to. And he was big into, hey, you need to eat more. I went to him and I was like, I'm always tired. And he's like, yeah, it's because you're working out a lot and you're not eating enough. And I was like, son of a gun. So I'm not allowed to skip breakfast anymore.
So you said you're not competing this year.
I'm not competing this year, yeah.
Does everybody know that?
I think so. I've I mean, I've said it on social media, not that people are like following that religiously. I definitely am still having conversations with people when I meet with them or like see them. They're like, "How's the competition season?" I'm like, "Well," but yeah, no, that was a big decision for me. I've competed for the last 3 years, and it's been great. And I don't even think that I'm like done competing forever, but I started working for myself full time in August after the games, and that's been really good. But I knew that I would not be able to like give 100% into some business stuff that I wanted to do and competing, and I'm like an all or nothing person. And last year was very much like, let's do training like full send, and it was great. And now I'm like, okay, I will end up like half-assing both of these things by the end of the year. I need to choose.
Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.
So who's this guy right here?
This is Jace. Everybody, say hello. Yeah, he is. You're getting old. Distinguished gentleman. He's 9. I got him as a puppy when I had no business getting a puppy. I was that girl that was like, I'm going to go pet puppies today, but obviously I'm not going to get one. And then you just came home with me in an apartment, and you were a little shithead. Yes, you were.
I don't believe it for a second, Jace.
He's German Shepherd Pit Bull Blue Heeler, which I love those breeds, but everyone was like, do you know what you got yourself into? Those are very energetic, loyal, stubborn breeds. And I was like yeah,
like me.
Pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're also very dramatic, also like me. Anyway, but I got him trained by someone a couple years ago, and he's been Monday. Because I wouldn't be able to open the door without him like taking off throughout the neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Getting in a car chasing you. We did that quite often, didn't we? Yeah, he's like, maybe. So, anyway, but yeah, he's been my ride or die since 2015.
So, did you have an accident or?
For my leg?
Yeah.
For my leg? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
No, actually, I was born. It was a congenital condition called PFFD. So essentially, it means like you're missing some portion of your femur bone.
Mm-hmm.
Missing a good bit of it. But my parents actually didn't know that I was gonna have that. I like just talked to my siblings about that. I was like, what was it like for mom and dad to come home and be like, yo, sister don't got a leg? And yeah, they just like had no idea, but rolled with it. And I was just telling you because I was using an excuse why I don't like to eat. I actually had really bad acid reflux as a kid. So my stomach is really small. It was too small. They had to enlarge it. But they didn't really know that until I was like 2. So I would have issues like keeping food down until I was like 2. They couldn't figure it out. And then realized what it was, and I had surgery. But the leg was more pressing at first. They're like, we see that. That's not there.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Does it come with any other issues or complications or?
Not that I know of, and I don't think that. Well, I know that the birth defect and the stomach thing like weren't related.
Gotcha.
It was just like, bam, bam.
Mm-hmm.
Just like give the last one the issues, but no. But honestly, and I don't have I actually don't have stomach issues now. I love food. I just use it as an excuse when I get really full in the morning. I'm like, I used to have acid reflux when I was 1 year old. But yeah, my parents and family were great about it though. Like, I mean, I've had it since it was time to learn how to walk, obviously, and we just kept it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, good time.
They didn't treat you any differently because you had one leg?
No, my mom has said before, she's like, it's good that you have 3 older siblings. I'm the youngest of 4. Because she was like, if it was just me and your dad, I probably would have coddled you, like, too much. She definitely has the most empathy. You know, like, if we're going somewhere and we're, like, parking, she's like, Amy doesn't need to walk far. Like, let's park close to the thing. And then my siblings are like, she's fine.
Yeah.
So it was a good mix. But yeah, my siblings, especially, my dad and my brother like the sense of humor of the family. So they would always make jokes about it. And then they all just like would treat me normally, but also tell me when I'm being the worst. They're like, you need to not throw yourself a little pity party here.
Yeah.
Just live your life. And I have needed that many times. So people probably see the stuff that I post on Instagram and they're like, no, she's always just so happy and inspiring. And
Sorry,
whatever.
Jeff. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, you're good. Ironically, he doesn't like feet, so
Yeah.
that's what that is. But I actually have to work really hard for a good attitude. Like any time that I'm like posting something like this is what the situation is, but it's gonna be okay. It's because I've like called my sisters usually, and they're like reel me back in.
So you have 3 sisters and a brother, or no, 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm. That's me. Yeah. So my parents, obviously, my sister Matt. I love that. My brother Matt, Megan, and Karen. So Karen's the oldest, then Megan, then Matt, then me. Best for last.
So breakfast is done now. What?
So normally I won't do this today, but normally I would write if I hadn't done that already. And then I try to get to the gym like between 9 and 9:30. So if it's earlier, I would get some work done. And then let me show you my planner. You want to see?
Let's see it.
You want to see how type A I am? Also, it's the end of the week, so it's gonna be a little messy. But yeah, this was falling out. But I like to write lists for anything and everything. So I like to check things off. I'm also the person that if I forget to write something down, but if I've done it, I write it down.
And check it out.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the loudest toothbrush in existence. Oh my gosh. So do you take your leg off? When do you take your leg off?
To shower and to sleep because it's like uncomfortable. It stays on through like suction. So this little pin lock system, it's called like double walled if we're being technical, or double walled like socket. And so this is a pin that goes through this and this like in the socket, and then it locks it in place. And then this section actually suctions to my skin. So the two together is what helps keep it on. But as you can imagine, like by the end of the night, you don't want something suctioned to your skin for a long time. So I actually, when I grew up, I had something called a Tez belt, and it's literally like a belt that they put on here and then you wrap around, which, you know, the older I got as a girl, I actually wore that till I was like 24. It was super old school, but I didn't realize how outdated it was at the time because I just kind of like did the status quo, what I was used to. But the Tez belt, it's like the leg isn't as attached because your limb can move around in the socket a lot more, and so I couldn't be as active. And also as a girl, I didn't like adding things to my waist.
Yeah.
I need to throw these out and like wash them. These are like the really old ones, but they're like $500. So, and they're $500 to get a long thing, and then I cut them like that. So this, and insurance doesn't usually cover that. So that's, I like beat the shit out of them and then try to hold it as much as possible. This was actually one, so you know, Quit Products.
Yeah.
So Mark and Dana can attest to this. 2022 games at CrossFit, we had to do a longer run than legless rope climbs and like push press. And it was so hot and sweaty, like you can see like the suction portion on my leg is so small that if I sweat too much, it will like fall off and the whole leg will fall off. So I knew when they gave us that long of a run in a workout, I was like, yo, my leg's gonna fall off before the rope climb. So me and my coach at the time went to them, and they had helped me the year before with a bike strap, so they like knew what was up. So they were helping us with ideas. They gave us materials, and then me and my coach went to Walmart the night before, and then he literally hand sewed this the night before competition to help keep it on. And we attached like a strap that went around like this way. And obviously this wasn't ever on camera, but like as I was running, I would grab and pull it up when I was sweaty, so I didn't have to take it off. And so it was like falling off. I was just like pulling it up. But then ironically, at first we were like, try to keep the leg on for the rope climb because that takes so much time to take it off. And that year, no one else had to take a leg off. And so by the time I was at the top of the rope, my leg fell completely off from the top, and the judges aren't allowed to help you. So I like came off the rope, and then I looked at my judge and was like, where's my leg? And they're like, it's over there. And I had to like go hop and find the pin and everything. I was so mad because I was like, yo, like this isn't fitness. This is, where's my leg?
This is technically the safety.
Yeah, I had that happen twice. Another time we had like really big like log get overs. Well, big for me because I'm short. And I'm fine with that. Like I can throw myself over. But it was a sprint workout, so I didn't have time to take the leg off for the log get over. I threw my leg over. The leg literally flew off, and I ended up hopping down the field instead of running it because it was too much time.
When do you take your leg on and off in a workout?
I have tried to learn how to keep my leg on as much as possible, but gymnastics, take it off. And for CrossFit, it really depends on what they program, because that's the kind of thing, like, I'm not competing this year, but I like appreciate the programming they're doing, because there's so much thinking that they don't think through it. Well, they don't have to think through it, you know? So it's like, if you have a workout and you're like, let's give an example, like jump rope. Well, let's take 24.2. It was row, deadlift, jump rope. And so I could keep my leg on for the row, but I can't use it in a rower because of like the angle. It like stops my mobility to actually come in for a full pull.
Gotcha.
So I take this like just off to the side and row with one leg. Then deadlifts, I want my leg.
Okay.
And then obviously, and then for the jump rope, it's a lot heavier and it gets in the way, so it'd be nice to have it off. So then it's like you have to pick. So the way I did the workout just for fun, so I laid my leg next to the deadlift. First round, had the leg on for the rower, walked to the deadlift, went right away, took it off, jump rope, row without the leg, then pick up the deadlift or pick up the leg every time I do the deadlift. Which if you're in only against only AKs, it's fine because we're all struggling with that. Like the other girl, Lauren, that is competing this year, sometimes we talk before she does the workouts, and she's like, how would you do this with your leg? And it's nice to just talk to someone who gets it, because she's like, yeah, like I can't do this with my leg, but I have to take it off 3 times, and that's so much transition time. So when it's always that, it's fine because we're all making those decisions. Me and Lauren were together at this past games, and we were the only ones that had to make equipment decisions like that. So that's where it gets frustrating, where it's like, I know how fast I can go, but
limited by the level.
I'm limited by just an equipment issue or something that maybe someone who programs it doesn't they don't think through that because it's new to them.
Yeah.
So
how much range of motion do you have at your knee?
My knee, it stops here, so a solid bit.
Yeah, and your leg can fall out literally right now if it unsuctioned.
Yeah, it wouldn't, like now, like I know when it's about to.
Gotcha.
Like it would be when I squat. That is different because this forward squat is different than this.
Like sitting back.
And so I can feel a pull on suction. I was actually doing sissy squats at the gym the other day, and just to practice positioning and everything. And my suction broke, and it made a noise. It sounds like you literally are farting or something. And I had to grab the pole and stand myself up. And the girl next to me was like, "Oh my God, what? I heard that." I was like, "Wasn't that?"
I just shit my pants.
Yeah, I was like, my section broke, and she like saw it, and she's like, "Oh, so that like actually happens?" I was like, "Yeah, we're not making it up. Like it can actually." When athletes go to a box, especially for like AKs, like that have like limited stuff.
What does AK mean?
Above
like
the knee.
AK-47?
Exactly. Yeah. Good. Yeah, above the knee prosthesis. But it's real. It's like, no, I can technically squat not to a box, but when it gets really, really heavy and you have that much pressure on your leg, it can very easily. And I've been at the bottom of the squat being like, oh fuck, my leg's gonna fall off and have to bail out. So to have a box where it's like you can almost reset this, where it's like it's just there's not as much pressure on the residual limb,
right?
So there's less of a chance, and it's better. Even if it starts to pull, you can get out of it, as opposed to like just going and having nothing to come off of.
Right.
It's actually like a safety thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that's been my experience. What?
Is that a leg right there?
Oh, yeah.
How many legs you got back here?
2. A running blade and a lifting leg. Yeah, I actually used to have a much worse limp than I have now. And I took physical therapy. Oh, there's no. Oh, you were dropped off. Okay. Yep. And I went to physical therapy. Oh, that's a person. And have less of a limp now, but it's definitely something that when I'm tired or not thinking about it, it's easy to limp because it's hard. It's more energy to like use the prosthesis than just hike up on my left leg because that leg's so strong. So that's a lot of. That's actually for a lot of amputees. It's hard to trust your prosthesis, and it's way more tiring if you don't have a long limb to actually like make yourself engage it.
Right. So where do you train?
I'm a little bit back and forth, but for the most part, I'm at a CrossFit gym in Brentwood. It's like a suburb south of Nashville. It's called CrossFit Trivium. So I'm usually there during the week, and then like Saturdays I'll go to the Proven Gym, the new space, which is a phenomenal space. But because I'm not competing this year, like obviously right now the athletes that are at that gym, they're all in competition mode, and I want to like kind of respect that space for them of you know, they're gonna do their thing there. And I really like, because my plan was to be at Trivium full time, but like I have just made some really great friends at Trivium, and I'm having fun there. And because like I'm not competing, I'm just training and enjoying my time, it's like, yeah, like I really like this space. I like being around these people, and I want to keep doing it. Yeah. So it's really fun.
Do you follow an adaptive athlete program, or do you get programming and then you modify it for yourself?
That, yeah. It depends who's, because I've had people program through me throughout the years. Like sometimes they would adapt, like, you know, with like some of the Proven programming. It was kind of a learning curve, and they had told me that before I joined. They're like, we've never had an adaptive athlete, so like we need to see how you move. So but if I don't have that, then I just adapt the programming for myself. And I'm one that like okay, so 24.3, they adapted things. So they adapted the weight, obviously, for an above knee, and then they changed thrusters to push press, which is better for our adaptation, 1,000%. And they like changed the weight to like a good bit lighter. If I was just doing the workout for like for fun or what I wanted it to be, I would probably keep it like thrusters to a box with the lightweight, just because it's like I just want to try it. But like from a like standpoint of like, hey, let's keep these standards even for energy expenditure across the board between divisions, it should be the way that it's written for them.
So you used to wear flesh colors over your leg?
Yes. Yeah, so it was like a cosmetic cover. It was thick and like foam, and they would put it all over this to make it blend in. And so I didn't decide to get that removed until I was like 24, and it was like a big decision for me, because in my mind, blending in and being normal was like basically ignoring that the leg was there. Mm-hmm. And so the first time I ever showed this type of leg at a gym, I was going to a boxing gym. I was wearing long pants for the day, and I called my roommate, and I was like panicking. I was like, tell me that I can walk out here and show my leg to these people, mm-hmm. and I'm not gonna lose it. She's like, yeah. Did your parents ever be like it's okay, no one cares? Oh, yeah, for sure, because I heard all of the things from my family and all of it, but and they were always like, yeah, like, you're great just the way you are, like, doesn't define you. But it's very different to actually believe that yourself. And I had a conversation with my brother-in-law when I was a sophomore in college, and I remember that conversation because he was asking me about like dating and stuff, and I was just saying how insecure I was with it, whatever, but kind of making jokes about it. And he said, like, no, like, confidence comes from you. And he said, if you think men are weird about your leg, it's because you're weird about your leg. And at first I like wanted to kind of be offended, but then it gave me hope, because it was like, if this is the case, and this is like not a blood relative, like my dad and my brother would tell me that, but I was like, you have to tell me that, you're my family. Mm-hmm. He's like, if you're a guy that does not have to tell me, yeah, the leg doesn't have to be a big deal, and you are, like, then if it actually is me that's the problem and not the leg, that I can change it. So it was just this conversation. I was like, yo, can you actually like change how you view shit in life? Yeah. And nothing happened overnight, but it was just like the first distinct conversation. I was like, I think that I can be living differently than I am now. Yeah. So did you know anybody else with the prosthetic growing up that you know? Do you think that would have been way different to have somebody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't even know, like, again, small town, like, there wasn't a lot. There were other, like, support groups, I guess, I could have gone to, and I refused them. Like, my mom would tell me, like, yeah, because, again, in me, I equated normal with ignoring. So I was like, to blend in, I don't want to, like, go into a support group or like, physical therapy would me be acknowledging that I'm different. So I was like, I'll just figure it out. Which ironically led to, like, I limped worse because of physical therapy, or because of lack of it. And so it's like, if I had just, like, accepted it, then I would have actually stood out less in the way that I was standing out. But, yeah, so I avoided all of that. And I remember I was getting a leg the same time I, like, went to the gym, the boxing gym, took off the prosthesis. Because I went to get a new leg. I was like, I want to be more active. What do I need to do? So, like, take the cover off, get a new way of attaching it, do all these things. And that was, because I'm not an amputee, that was my closest taste to being an amputee, because I had to relearn how to, like, trust the leg. And it was, like, way harder than I, like, bargained for. I was like, this will be fun. It was awful. Like, I would wear it for an hour and be in so much pain, and there'd be so much sweat. I just have to take it off. And I was like, there's no way I can have this be my leg. And that was months of that. And then I went through that process, and I talked in that process, like, one of the knees, I was, like, shopping for knees. My prosthetist was like, you should talk to this girl. She also had a birth defect, and she's, like, a few years older than you, and you guys have, like, somewhat similar personalities. You'd get each other. So I called her one day on the phone and asked her a question, and it was, like, the most basic conversation. But I remember her saying something that was like, yeah, well, you know, she just described how my brain and body worked when I took a specific step. I don't even know what it was anymore, but I literally almost started crying on the spot, because it was the first time that someone actually told me what I was thinking without me trying to describe it. Because up until that point, I had a really bad limp, and it was so frustrating to have a two-legged person mimic my limp and be like, do less of this. I'm like, bitch, you don't know. Like, I see what you're like, I know what you're saying, but you don't understand. I physically don't know how that feels to move. Like, you're like pressing my heel. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know how that should even, like, equate in my body. It's like, describe to me how a pineapple tastes, and you've never tasted pineapple. And so to have someone that could speak my language and then be like, you want to do this because you're afraid the leg will do this instead. I was like, holy crap, someone gets it. And so we became friends. She actually sold me my house. She became a real estate agent. But she became friends, and, like, I started asking her, I was like, how do you date? Like, because I really, like, I avoided those situations as much as possible. So I was like, how do you bring up this topic? Like, how do men respond to this? Or, like, you know, just different scenarios. And she was just, like, telling me, she wasn't telling me what to do. She was just like, this is how I've handled it. I'm like, oh my God, you get it. And it also normalized it for me. So that was life-changing. And that's really cliche, but, like, when I share stuff on social media, that's what it's like. I want to be that for, like, a middle school girl. Like, because if I had that, it probably would have changed a good bit of my thinking at that age. And it was a really hard age for me.
A spark plug or do a leg?
Same.
Same. We got some protein, weighted vest. We're like first ones here.
Hell yeah, brother. What's this leg?
This is for lifting. If I don't have this, it's not a good time. This is how I switch out my knees.
I like this stance right here. This is
like not a real squat, but just like, if I did this, that'd be a lot harder. Woo! So,
like, it almost seems like you're balancing on your leg instead of using the strength of your left leg.
Yes. So this is like, I can actually just put weight on. Obviously, I would never want to be in this position for a squat.
Yeah, like
an actual
weighted.
Squat, yeah. But, like, this, I'm fully, like, putting
Karate
weight
Kid.
on this. Whereas if I do this, it's the angle of my residual limb.
Gotcha.
So, like, imagine this going down in that position. I'm putting my weight here,
right,
like on top of it. Otherwise, I'm here and I only have this much space
to put weight on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's harder. It puts a lot more pressure on the limb, and it just
Not a good time.
it don't feel good.
Do you ever do any training without your leg?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of workouts I'll just do without my leg on. Period. It's a good mix of like knowing how to do both, because for the competition, they might have movements that I usually do with the leg, but pair it with a movement where I can't have the leg on and lose that transition time. So I've literally had to practice both. We had a games thing a couple years ago that was like heavy carries and sled push and pull, and then we had to run the other half of it. So I had to use a running blade, and a running blade gives out real easy. The knee has to like be free flowing. So it's like every other life situation I would carry with this, but I couldn't because of like the movement pairing. So in the gym, like you really never, I'm not unrealistically, you never know what's gonna come up in a competition for like adaptive stuff like that. So I just try to practice movements with my leg without, and gain stamina in both.
Can you ride a regular bike?
Oh, yes. It's a little, so funny story. You want to know how I learned how to ride a bike? Because this foot will like naturally start to come off the pedal, and especially on a bike that's like you're turning. So we would tie my foot onto the pedal.
That seems really dangerous.
Oh, we had some wipeouts. When you wipe out with your foot stuck to the pedal, you get under some shit.
And when's the last time you rode like a regular bike?
Oh, it's been years. Because it's like, I can definitely do it. It gets a little hairy on the turns.
Yeah?
I can do it fine, but I get nervous when it's like, because now obviously I don't strap my foot on. So if I feel something start to slide off, it's me taking my hand off and putting it back on and coming back, which is...
That was a dance move, actually. Yeah, put the leg back on the bike. Do you wish that there was more consideration for leg removal, putting on, etc., when it comes to events?
Yes. For me, it just depends who I'm competing against. I don't care what I have to do. I just want it to be as even as possible across the board.
Is there a different division for above and below knee?
Now there is.
Okay.
I have never competed with that other than an adaptive competition called Wheel Wad. And they are the people now programming for the games. It has not been the case before.
Yeah.
So out of 3 years, I had one competitor that was an above knee in 2023.
Yeah.
Everything else, it was either below knees or a different adaptation without a prosthesis, which I respect all of those competitors a lot. It just led to a lot of frustration from my part of equipment transition things that was like, this is not a question of who's fit. This is a question of what do you got to do to set up for the workout. This man came in here the other day and he said, my name's Will, but people call me Showtime.
Vibes up. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like the vibes were low, and I thought, everybody was laughing.
It worked.
Because it was an embellishment.
Because I said I want the names and numbers of the people that have called you Showtime.
Sure.
Do you think you could be...
What's your name, sorry?
Rodrick.
Will.
Nice to meet you,
Good to
Will.
meet you, man.
Have you ever seen the memes for time?
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, sick.
Do you think you could beat Amy at a one-legged workout?
Depends. I gotta be nice and warm.
Okay.
We'll see.
Do you know how much Amy's legs are?
200K or something like that? 100K? Yeah, she told me one day, and I said, that thing going missing.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm selling it, but I'm gonna go somewhere with it.
Unless they don't know any better and they just sell it on eBay.
They just sell it on eBay. All right, so you're putting on a lifting leg.
Yes.
And that's how much?
This is, I think, like 10 to 15.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, in child's play. Yeah, I actually applied for a grant because insurance won't cover stuff like this. I got insurance to cover, I actually did a deal with my prosthetist, like with their office. This is like $100,000. The leg before that is like 40 to 50.
Yeah.
And I changed my insurance to get them to cover the 40 to 50, and then they help cover the rest of it as like a sponsor.
Yeah.
And then I applied for grants for this and my running blade. Because people, I'm sure, like see my stuff and they're like, oh, you're just like getting that paid for whatever. I'm like, Nah.
What is the, like, you have to write an essay for the grant, or?
Yeah, you have to
Oh,
get that.
actually, I was making a joke.
No, you do. You have to write why you want it. You have to have usually someone sign off, like a prosthetist, of like, because it's very true. Like, they have to see proof that you're going to use the leg to its full extent. Because sometimes, like, as a amputee, you're rated by K levels, which is activity levels, and it's your potential to be able to use it. Doesn't even have to be current fitness. It has to be your potential to be able to use the leg to its fullest extent. So it's rated through K1 through 5. K5 is like the highest activity level, and you have to prove, this is called a microprocessor knee, you have to prove that you're at least, I think, a K3 to 5 in order to even get this approved. And so for something like this, I was like proving, hey, like I'm going to use this to the full extent.
Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I feel like it was probably on purpose. I had a little beam on it. I outgrew those.
Can you break the leg with the barbell?
It was not on purpose.
I'm sure. There are legs, there's like weight limits you're supposed to put on it. So especially that one, like this can hold a lot more weight. I probably shouldn't lift like my max would probably be pushing it with my weight and my max on that foot.
Okay.
I never really thought
What
about
about
it.
like your quad area? Like I see you meeting the bar there.
Oh, you can feel, not in a creepy way, but if you
Yeah.
put your finger on this, it's like all textured. It's because it's starting to splinter.
And how often do you need to replace that?
I've had this since 2022, and I'm gonna try to make it last. Because that's the thing, insurance is like, I went to my doctor and they're like, we should get a new socket. And I was like, how much is that gonna cost? And they're like, 10 to 15. And I was like, well, you girl don't have that laying around right now. So, and I have a really high deductible, so it just is what it is. So I was like, I'm gonna wait.
So do you think if you, against somebody who is a amputee, who have been in a prosthetic the exact same amount of time, do you have an advantage? Do they have an advantage, or same?
So, you mean like they've had their leg as much as I have? Do they have the same adaptation, like above knee?
Everything's exactly the same. Maybe they're 10 years older than you, and they got amputated when they were 10 years old.
Honestly, that is just a matter of, that's perfect, because that's just grit. That's just you don't have any kind of excuse of an adaptation. It's just who's going to be the one to dig in and be the better athlete. Yeah, you can nitpick who's got advantages for adaptations all day long, but...
So you're not an amputee, but do you ever feel like you have toes on your right side?
No. Yeah, I like don't even know what it would feel like to have toes. Like, I mean, I feel it in my socket, but because amputees have something called phantom limb pain,
Right.
I don't have that.
Right.
And I'm very grateful for that, because that would just trip me out.
So do you have any quad muscle in your right leg?
No.
No muscle at all?
I wouldn't say no muscle, but it's really hard. Like, probably the most that I would work out that quad muscle is in walking and running, because I'm heel toe, and then I would have to use like quad to swing through. But everything else, it's more hip than anything.
Do you ever take your leg off and do like banded exercises with?
I should do it
What
more.
would you call this? Like
Residual limb.
your residual limb.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really important for, I tell amputees getting started to do that in the gym,
Yeah.
because it's very easy to just overcompensate, but you can definitely strengthen that side. Like my side, like my right side is obviously not as developed as my left, but it's better than it used to be, and that's because of like learning how to engage that side, like press to the floor, and doing like banded exercises just for stamina and stuff.
Walk the block, I think.
How come you didn't put your other shoe on this prosthetic?
Oh, because the foot's a lot bigger. Also depends on the height. This is a little bit shorter. Like I could probably raise this a little bit, see how that is. But I put feet on that. It like limits the mobility a little bit. Well, not that much, but it's like I have to put like a size men's 11 on that to get it to put on.
What did you study in college?
Music. Commercial music, actually. I play the saxophone.
Changing legs again?
changing legs again.
Does the
think
humidity
you're gonna
affect your
thrive?
legs?
Yeah. A lot of sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever the seasons change, and also like when weather changes fast, I'm more susceptible to get like rashes and shit.
And then, do you have to get your legs serviced?
Yeah, so I went to the doctor's office, my prosthetist office, a couple of weeks ago just to get it sent in, because to get it serviced under warranty, it's free. To get it serviced outside of warranty, it can be $10,000.
So if it was raining, like pouring rain, would you take your leg off and like put it under your clothes, or just dry it off?
That's a good question. So this is actually water resistant.
Not proof.
This one is the most waterproof ever. I think this one is actually waterproof, the X3. I think people are like, why don't you do it? Because the most that I would do, because this, I know this can get salt water on it, and no like could ever get salt water on it, so I like would hop through the waves at the beach. This I would like walk through like the ocean with it, and that would be really nice. It's really nice to do that in like creeks and streams, but it's not helpful to swim with it. It's just a dead weight. It doesn't help me. So waterproof, like, yeah, cool, I'm not gonna go swim with it, but I would like go walk through a stream.
Do you think you can beat Amy at any single leg workout?
Probably not. I feel like that takes like spectacular like coordination and balance, and it's so impressive.
What movement would you be most scared of doing with one leg?
Honestly, stuff with the barbell, because I just feel like barbell's kind of big. Like weighted movements would just be kind of hard to make sure that you're like centered, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably the worst, but it's so impressive watching her do like even gymnastics movements, kind of thinking about only being able to like kip with one leg or whatever.
Yeah.
She
is lighter because of one leg though.
Yeah, but I don't think that helps as much as people think. So it's like a momentum thing. Like your legs almost help you with the momentum. So that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like she was doing pullovers the other day, and like it's hard to describe how to like use momentum with your legs. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just there's a lot of things that are very difficult that people don't realize. I feel like people probably use the excuse of like, oh, well, she's lighter, but like that really doesn't help.
Yeah. So Will's the one who jokes around with you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also like bring that on myself. I like to razzle dazzle.
Well, it seems like most of the adaptive community joked with me and appreciated the joking.
To be fair, so far it's mostly been someone saying something and me cracking a one leg joke, and then everyone like
and they're like
pausing
oh, okay.
for a second, and you're like, can I laugh at this? I'm like, yes. They're like, okay. We've said even like okay, we're like almost at that point where I can say the joke and you laugh. I'm like, yes.
It's like the same sentiment as Mike Egan.
Yes.
You know Mike Egan?
Yeah, Mike's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he says, and I'm adaptive. I've always been adaptive, but even like when someone else with a different adaptation says something, I'm like, haha. Funny story. Jenny, she has one arm. She actually sometimes goes here. She was at the games with me, and I saw she had her nails done on one hand, and I asked her if she did her own nails.
Yeah.
And then she just looked at me and she goes, Amy. And I said, I didn't think that through. My bad. And I was like so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, this is how people feel when I like give them a hard time about shit. Ooh, I'm at it. All right.
What was the hardest movement for you to learn? Or
Double
something maybe you
unders.
can't do still?
Double unders, ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
Those are like skill wise. Yes. For ring muscle ups, I still do this weird donkey kick thing. I do it a little bit with bar, but it's gotten better. Where it's like, it's almost like I try to like kick with my leg to make.
Like you're trying to be like Mario?
Yeah.
With double
it's
jump?
it's like it's like I'm trying to make up for the fact that I don't have as much momentum on the other side, and I counteract the balance. So I'll be like up, and then I'll do this weird like kick, and my leg should be going down, and it's like this. So it's like fighting my momentum to get over. It's real stupid.
So can you do ring muscle ups though?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, but they're like, if you give them to me in a workout, it's like, oh damn.
Oh man.
Like I did them 3 days ago,
but it's like they fatigue me way more than they should because I muscle them too much right now.
Go, Amy.
Brooke, do you know how they keep their legs on?
Nope.
Is it magic?
Yeah. I just turn around and it's off. Turn around and it's on.
Yeah. It's suction.
Oh, it's suction?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
I want to watch.
Yeah, we'll have her
I've
show
never
us
asked. Okay.
when she's done. You know their legs can fall off if they get too sweaty?
Yeah, she was telling me about hers fell off during like a rope climb workout.
Yeah. And the
That's-
judges weren't allowed to help them,
Yeah.
so she had to hop.
Yeah. I feel like that's got to be hard for a judge though, because they probably want to help. It's
Yeah.
probably just like against the rules.
Right.
But yeah, that's intense.
How long do you think you could hop on one leg? Like 400-meter run, 800-meter run? Can you do a
Oh
mile?
my gosh. I'd be lucky to do a 4. I don't even think I can make a 400, if
No?
I'm being honest. Yeah.
Do you already know how much Amy's legs are, Brooke?
I don't know.
No idea?
Well, I think she's told us. I know it's in like several thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Maybe 10,000? Is that too much?
That's really low.
Oh, that's low?
Yeah, take one more guess.
If that's really low, then let's say 50.
So the leg she's wearing right now is $100,000.
Wait, are you serious? Do they get like insurance?
Insurance doesn't cover it.
Really?
Really? Do any piece of equipment used for CrossFit cost more than $100,000?
No. I can't think of anything costing more than like, I mean, maybe like $200, like $150 for your shoes, you know?
And you know they need multiple legs to do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's something she's actually educated me on.
Yeah. Well, now that you know how much a leg is, how much do you think like a wheelchair for fitness is?
Oh, that's got to be insane. I'm gonna say it's more, so maybe like 120.
It's actually less.
Oh, it's less.
Like around 5 to 10 grand.
5 to 10 grand. I just said 120 grand.
Yep.
Okay.
I knew none of these things when I went to Wheel Walk,
Yeah.
and I told everybody, I'm just gonna ask you questions. I'm not trying to offend you, and I just want to learn.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean that's actually really cool to know. Like, I feel like that's not something I would normally think about, like how much like investment goes into something like that. And it's honestly like heartbreaking because I'm sure a lot of people wish that they could afford something like that.
I'm trying. I was just like, so when I'm like lunging, like bilaterally, I will have
Using those
unilateral
big words right there.
cues. I mean, come on, we all know these words. If you don't, then like, I'm not your guy. Like, I'll use different cues for like if my back leg's here, I'm like pushing off of this, whether
Right.
that's using my glute or driving through this side, and then same thing. I'm having different cueing, so I was like, how do you create balance? Like, if we're doing sled pushes, are you cueing the right
So
back
yeah.
or anything? How are you like creating force through that side is what I was asking.
The most force I could ever create is push through the floor, push down on the foot to make the glute engage, because
Okay.
I press down, make the glute engage, but it's like a kickstand. I can't generate force through it.
So you're pulling yourself forward from the
But you
front
create
legs.
stability.
Yeah. I create stability. It's like, okay, so if I'm gonna I can push off here as long as the leg is lengthened. I can't generate force here. Like if I were to push here, I cannot push off this back leg because the knee's gonna give out. So that has to completely be from step, like.
So can you pull this leg like?
So if I pull it up, there's no force. It's literally
Here?
a kickstand. There's not in a bent position.
Okay.
So it's like.
Which is why you kind of walk like
Yes.
boom.
If I don't have to do that when I walk, but when I'm tired, it's very easy to do that. So when I'm sled pushing, it's literally this is here to push off of, but as soon as it bends, I lose all power. So when I step, like I can.
Wow,
kind of
yeah.
force,
That's why I was like, well, how do I mimic this? It's not the same. I can't like.
But it's
I can't
close
mimic
enough
it.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh, roll my
god.
shit,
Will Moore out of the CrossFit Games.
dude. Move my other legs better. No, I can't even do it. My brain. That's like an interesting.
It takes a lot longer, and your hip flexor gets real.
Damn.
Who needs RDLs?
Yeah, baby.
That is straight up real though. But if it's really heavy,
And you have to like hip.
so it's hip, then it just becomes literal heel, and then it's like all.
Oh my god, that looks exhausting.
And
this is doing nothing. It's basically like if
You're just balancing. Okay,
if
here we
I
go.
were to do this, it would be like pretty much the same. It's just giving me a quick 2-second break at the top. But like this
Bro.
feels the same. It's just that top where it's like, whew, rest.
You can breathe. Like,
Yes.
if you're... This is the one.
That's the. Oh shoot!
The
Yeah,
hip
that seems
engagement.
scary. Watch the rope though. Hey.
Oh, look and go. This is soccer days coming into play.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the thing that you can't do that for a 15-minute AMRAP.
Right.
You need to find efficiency, like where she was saying, oh, I can balance on my leg. I just don't have that ability to dissociate. I just haven't done it, right? Like, how would I? But
That's been my biggest thing with CrossFit because I have a lot of strict strength, but figuring out how to be efficient with it, it's like, you know, my muscles are actually, when I first started jump roping, because it was just one leg, my ankle would literally lock up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually can't, like, I can't get off the ground right now. It's
this
like,
is
how
like
do I?
relatively simple too, relative.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
to a thruster.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah,
are
that'd
you
be
kidding
crazy.
me? No chance. Like, the mobility demand that I would have to have. I'm already tight with like
Two
both
legs.
my legs, let alone like, all right, let's put weight on and then do a thruster.
If you had to choose one arm or one leg,
Oh, that's a tough. I think I'd probably choose one arm, just because I love running. Like, that's one of my most favorite exercises to do. Like, soccer player, I just grew up running. I mean,
Yes.
honestly, like,
I mean, I'm biased. I'm gonna say leg, obviously.
Not
I
you.
would, if I'm thinking from that,
it's
I
not
would
that
say like,
hard.
yeah, like one arm. But then you think about, because this is not the same. I hate when people are like, I broke my ankle once and it's the same.
I literally
Like,
just broke my wrist. And she's like, yeah, well, huh.
no, but I broke my wrist. That's why I have this tattoo. In 2015, this side of my body was real pointless for a while. Like brushing your teeth. That's this kind of stuff with an arm that you don't think about because you're like
you know what
this.
Victor said the worst thing to do with one arm? I guess
Pull-ups?
picking up dog poop.
Huh.
So Victor has one arm. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know. Man.
He said you pick up poop. He's like, how do you turn the bag over? He's like, I have to do it with my mouth.
Oh.
Wait, so you go...
He picks up the bag and then he flips it over.
Ah,
the top button of a button up is the second hardest.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of hand and arm surgeries. So I've been like temporarily like one-armed. And the weirdest thing for me was wiping my butt with the other arm.
Ooh, that must be challenging.
Let's
yeah.
really get into it.
Part-
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, hold on. Or like bathing with one arm.
Yeah.
When
A
I
little more part-time adaptive athlete.
No, I mean, no, but like that's the closest I can say I've been, right?
I tore some ankle ligaments. Actually, I got my running blade, and then 3 days later, I was coming off a treadmill and rolled my ankle, tore some ankle ligaments. The hardest part was what?
Sorry, that's so many people asked me to ask you that, and I
What?
forgot, and you just brought it up. Have you ever rolled your ankle?
Yes. Literally, not even
surgery
doing the
was-
running. I was stepping
Same.
off the treadmill and stepped off wrong, and I was so upset because literally getting in and out of my bed was the worst part because I couldn't put pressure on any lower half of my body
Yeah.
and I wasn't set up for it. So literally I was getting to my bed and like doing a kneeling leap and like leaping over
Yeah.
and then I was rolling out of the bed. And then my dog had to get fucking fed and I was crab walking to
Yeah.
go feed him.
What about
Most-
this is something I've like
Yeah.
tried to help with.
Yeah.
It's inverted gymnastics or even kipping gymnastics and how you manipulate your body because you're getting momentum from one side, right?
Yeah.
Like we've tried that with handstands, we tried that with muscle ups. Just like I'm trying to wrap my mind around how she navigates those problems and creates force through her system that she has. And is it better to take the leg off? Is it better to keep it on because of balance? Like considerations, which we've talked about several times.
Yeah, we were talking about pullovers the other day. And yeah, like ring muscle ups, there's just so much more weight on one side. So I have a harder kip, but then I like do this weird I have a harder time being even.
Yeah, you're compensating.
Like catching over.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah. But to keep the prosthesis on it doesn't like swing in that fluid motion. So it would just like jerk and like stop my momentum. So it's always better to take it off for that.
It's like, what if you, this is probably not safe, but what if you like banded your feet together in some capacity?
Yeah.
She used to tie her leg to her bike pedal to learn to ride a bike.
Okay, yeah. You got to think.
Well,
how do you make it?
So you can do that, but then thinking a CrossFit workout, what do they program next? No judge is helping me untie myself.
Yeah.
So it's just, do I want to take the time to untie myself or take the leg off?
Maybe it'd be
you
like a
get
belt,
like
a belt, weightlifting belt.
Like a hook or a Velcro. I'm just thinking of if it made it more efficient for you, because you're really strong upper body.
Yeah.
Like, except for when we were benching it one day and she was trying to show off.
Okay, that doesn't need to be. That was one day.
She was trying to show off. She's like, hey, can I get a spot? Usually I bench like way more than this. I'm going for 17 reps or whatever. And I was like, all right, sick. Like, let's do it. And she went, she got maybe 2.
This is being mistold.
And I was like, hey, so maybe we just drop by 20 pounds and we go on
10, he was like, take
20 off. And then guess what? She had a good session.
Here's the thing.
She goes, you're probably right.
I hadn't benched in a long time, and I was going off of a sincere percentage of what my bench used to be, but I had significantly decreased. It was also like a bad week for it. Like,
It was a bad week.
well, no, it was hormonally as a female.
Most of the seated athletes I talked to, they said the hardest part is transfers, which is you just told me when you rolled your ankle, transferring in and out of bed was like the most challenging
Yeah.
part. Fun fact.
Yeah, that
Interesting. Okay.
That makes complete sense if they said that, yeah. Well, I even said to him in there, like when I was getting the plate off, it's so stupid, but like me getting weight off a bar is like obnoxious just because I can't go like this and lift the bar and push it off. So it's like this.
You find
lifting
yourself
it.
like manipulating with your upper body to balance for your lower body. Like,
Yeah, and my hip flexor just gets so tight.
yeah.
It's a little cheating because I don't have my leg.
Okay, here we go. Damn. Oh, so I get to use my hands on there.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, we're doing burpees.
Burpee, single leg box jump over.
How many?
She's
Hold on.
she's going 100 for
Chill.
time or something.
Chill, what we doing? 20, 15, 9?
It's gonna be good.
Wait, you used 2 legs.
Wait, how am I supposed to jump?
You're on one leg the whole time.
Damn. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. There we go.
I want to like use my legs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Easy day.
Good time.
Yeah, you're an A on these single legs.
For me, it's a nay.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. 2 legs is hard enough, right?
Yeah.
It's on. The leg goes on. This is the suction part. So like this is my skin. So this suctions to my skin here. That's why if it's sweating, this can all fall off and I'm a little screwed. And then this pin goes through here and then through here. This actually, like people wonder what this is. When they created it, they were gonna see it's called vacuum and you actually pull air out of it. But because I don't have like a smooth surface residual limb, it hurts because it's like pulling from here and from here. And I was like, that doesn't feel good. So it just goes in here, clip it. And then yeah. Pretty cool.
And as they gain and lose weight, they might have to get it resized. Right, Amy?
Oh yeah. Well, we can try that. Oh, we
If
can
you
try that.
gain or lose weight, you might have to get it resized, correct?
Yes. That's actually a really big thing for amputees. They usually get a test socket and then they'll lose weight after they start walking and then they have to get it redone.
And how much is that?
I mean, sockets are like 10 to 15 grand.
Imagine losing weight and they have to pay 10 grand just to walk.
Yeah. Like, normally people are like, yes, I lost weight.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh,
And I need to
shoot.
take a mortgage
Yeah.
out to
Yeah.
keep
To
walking.
amputees, they add a bunch of socks and shit to like make it work in the meantime because like I don't have money to go get this, but I can't put my leg on right now.
Amy, do you get annoyed at people staring at you?
Honestly, I don't notice it very much anymore.
Did you used to?
Yes.
Yeah?
I hated it until I was like, honestly, a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I would get really mad in like middle school and be like, mind your business. But now I'm good.